All right, what is up, you give and goers? We got the Mats here today, recording this on Tuesday, December 6th. Not sure when it'll post, but we have myself, Matt Modi, the better Matt. And then we got Ferentinos. No Griffin today, just the Mats. So the show's probably going to go off the rails. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I noticed that as soon as I joined the call, I see the better mat. It's still up on the screen. So I have to bring it debating here. So let's see what I can do. But no, I'm excited to talk basketball, although as we talked about right before this, both of our teams in the NFL are doing pretty freaking well right now, the
Eagles,
Cowboys and
Cowboys.
Eagles. So literally like 1, 2 in the power rankings and almost every power ranking I've seen. But 538 has the Cowboys with a higher percentage to win the Super Bowl. I don't know what you think about that.
I saw that. I saw that. Or is ESPN, is that the same model? I saw ESPN has the Cowboys as like double the chances of
I
winning the
think that
Super
I was
Bowl.
gonna say the ESPN I think has the bullshit analytic factor built in, which is just how many people watch because they're all
Yeah.
about ratings. So I feel like just to get people talking about it, they'll have the Cowboys. But on a few metrics, I could kind of see the argument when it comes to like plus minus. But again, like the Cowboys have 3 losses versus the Eagles 1 loss, and they just look so dominant in any game. Even if the Eagles are like winning close games, to still win every single Sunday in the NFL is impressive. I mean, AJ Brown clicking, Devontae Smith, they're a scary team.
Yeah.
I'm like so upset that the year the Cowboys I think are peaking and doing so well, the Eagles also look equally amazing. And like Jalen Hurts, I think should win MVP.
He
He
probably
looks
will.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Eagles aren't quite like the Vikings, where literally every single game is a close game. The Vikings are
Yeah.
like they just blew out the Titans. They beat the Packers by 7 last week. But yeah, I mean, the Cowboys have a better point differential, probably have a better defense, at least like high end talent. So no, it'll be good. I mean, the Cowboys blow it every year in the playoffs. So I'll believe it when I see it with them. But I mean, they're good. They're definitely really good.
Well, because I think the path in the playoffs, no matter what, will we see the Eagles in the championship, depending on how it goes
It de-
now?
it
Because
depends. Yeah. So like as of right now, the most likely scenario is that the Eagles, if they win 4 of their last 5, they're going to get the 1 seed, even if they lose to the Cowboys on Christmas Eve,
yeah,
which will probably happen because they have a pretty easy schedule. So then the Cowboys are going to be the 5 seed, and they'll most likely play the Bucks in the first round, who they'll probably smash. I mean, the Bucks are terrible. I know we were just talking about it. The Bucks are terrible.
yeah. I
Um,
was talking with some friends earlier. It's like just the rule of averages. Like at some point, you're due for something, and it's like the Cowboys have never beat Tom Brady. Bucks have looked worse, and like I just think, yeah, Cowboys are clicking. I could see this being a revenge game, but yet
yeah, from week one, especially like from week one.
I thought they were going to do that with the Packers. I was like, this is the year when they'll beat
That's
the
true.
Packers,
They just
and
couldn't do
they
it.
fell short. Like 14-point fourth quarter lead just
Yeah, Aaron
completely
Rodgers, man.
collapsed.
Um,
That son of a
but
bitch.
but then the 6 and 7 seed is probably going to be two of the Commanders, Giants, and then
Gross.
Either Seahawks or 49ers. Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah.
But if the Cowboys win their first playoff game, which they probably will, and neither the 6 or 7 seed wins their playoff game, which they probably won't, then they would actually play in the divisional round, which would be terrible. Like that
Yeah, because
has to
they're
be
the
because that has to like the NFL should just change it. Like we got UNC and Duke in the Final Four. Like we have to have the Eagles Cowboys. They've never met in the NFC Championship game before.
that would be disappointing because yeah, you got to think like maybe the Vikings could blow one though to like the
They
Commanders or
easily
something
could.
like if that happens. So I could also see that happening, which would be nice because yeah, like you think the Christmas Eve game is going to get ratings?
Oh
Cowboys
my
Eagles
god,
NFC Championship, that might be like the most watched game
I
this
know.
year, including the Super Bowl. I feel
Yeah,
like.
I just wish that
Um,
I just wish that Christmas Eve. It might not mean anything. Like the Cowboys are probably gonna they're probably favored and gonna win that game, and it might not matter. Like I just wish it was a little more
yeah,
meaningful.
honestly, it's one of those like if the Cowboys lose that game, it could help both teams because then they're like, all right, the division race is out. Depending on if the Vikings are still putting pressure on, like, but the Eagles have the head-to-head matchup, so they have to drop 2 games, which I don't see that happening. But
Exactly.
when it comes to like resting players in the last few weeks, like maybe it's like, all right, the Cowboys just know that they can't win the division anymore, might rest key players. I don't know how it'll impact like the last few games because yeah, they're not gonna drop to the Giants or Commanders in the division. I think it'll be 1-2 the rest of
Yeah.
the season.
Yeah, and the Eagles play the Giants twice. They play the Saints and the Saints and the Bears. Like they have such a pancake schedule outside of that. I mean, they
Yeah.
both teams do. Like the Cowboys play the freaking Texans this week. It's like,
Oh my God, Texans, Jags, like we got some good games coming because I think those are the two games before the Eagles. And then who else do we finish up with? I don't think
Giants
it's
and
maybe the
Commanders, right?
Commanders. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a
So
cake. That's a cakewalk. But anyways, we'll save this for Christmas Eve live stream.
yep.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, in terms of anime, like I guess we've been talking about it in our group chat. I don't know if I don't even remember the last episode we did, but I've been reading One Piece, so that's pretty much engulfed my life is
Yeah, because you
reading
got
One
the
Piece.
Shonen Jump app, right?
Yeah.
So I love the formats. I used to just kind of Google and you could like read manga online, like you could find a website to do it, but no, I love Shonen Jump. It's so nice. It's so crisp. Like it's such
It's
a
so
great
easy to read.
format. Yeah. And I'm current with like 3 or 4 different mangas that I'm keeping up with, but currently getting through My Hero because I heard the anime was awesome, and season 6 so far is fantastic. Like literally the first episode, I was telling my buddies I felt like I was watching like the beginning of Endgame to start in Avengers. Like it's
Oh
just like
wow.
everyone, it's getting to like the climax, like the last few, I think, big clashes in the story where it's getting to that point, and so it's awesome. Like I like how they kind of keep it like in the anime, like the comic-y style of it, like with superheroes, like you see like kapow and like some of their moves and like the actual words will come out on the screen. And yeah, it's been really good. And the story is just awesome. I highly recommend My Hero.
Yeah, I'll have to start that next after One Piece. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was gonna like reading it because I read like I just wanted to see what it looked like. So I read something like random on my computer, then on my phone, and I was like, I don't think I like this. And then I did the free version of the app and I was like, oh, this is so much better. It's so much easier. And then I ended up,
Yeah,
yeah, now I mean, you can blow through it too, which is nice. Like I started it around Thanksgiving and I'm already like 300 chapters deep. Like you can just blow through it.
it's so easy to just keep going because they're all about, besides the first few chapters, which sometimes like the first issue will be like around 50 pages of a brand new story. They're around like 17, 18 pages, and like the first three are just like title. So you can like definitely get through a lot of it pretty
Yeah.
fast.
And
And
it's not that word heavy either.
mm, it's always why I like comics as a kid as opposed to reading
Actual
books.
reading, yeah.
Less words, more pictures.
Yeah, I mean it's very easy to read through.
So I guess also anime adjacent. How are you liking the new Pokemon game?
Oh, I love it. I ended up being able to do the Charizard. So I caught the Charizard.
Oh, that's sick. What kind of Charizard was it?
It was a dragon, or the Terra type is dragon, and then I think it's fire flying, I think is the type. I think they
Mm-hmm.
make it fire flying. But I mean they like juice up all the stats, so it's like the best of all of the possible stats. It's the best in every
Damn.
single one. Yeah, I mean
That's yeah.
I got lucky. Like when you get to a certain point, you can just join a raid. And
Mm-hmm.
I ended up joining one where like my guy wasn't that good, but the people were like so
Wrecking.
overpowered. Yeah. So it was like the group project where like nobody does anything but takes credit. That's exactly how it was.
I love that. Not I like how they kind of tied this in from Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Because I would just show up from people on Discord and like there'd be a dude with 6 phones and it's like, yep, I have the exact Pokemon needed to defeat this in the raid battle. And it's like, oh my God, it's like so easy. Cause yeah, I'm just there with like my Caesar that I use every single time, which has no matchup benefits, and then people are just wrecking.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. I like the co-op mode a lot. I was
Co-op is fun. I've been doing
playing with
that.
one of my buddies, Hunter, and it's great. Like that's how we've been trading. So that's why I have a Gengar and a Caesar. And we've traded a few of the exclusives because he has Scarlet and I have Violet. But I still have to beat the Champions League. That's what I'm on to now. It's just so easy, like get caught grinding. And
I
I
know.
definitely like I want to complete my Pokedex. So if I see any Pokemon that has
Same.
the Pokemon not around it, like I want to catch it. And I think the gameplay is addicting. Bugs aside, I like thought it was a little overhyped. It definitely could look cleaner, and I hope that some like patches do fix a few of the things. But I mean, I'm still having a blast. I think it's great.
Yeah, and I haven't really, maybe I've just been lucky, but I haven't really been that glitchy. Like I haven't really had that many bugs. Like there's only one
Mm.
time where I had to like restart the game because it was just so slow, like so laggy, it felt like. But other than that,
Yeah.
it's been mostly clean for me, which I'll take, obviously.
Yeah, and it's definitely getting the gameplay. Everyone complains like, "Hey, $60 a game." It's like, I mean, I pay more for games that I don't even touch, and
Yeah,
I've
I
already put
know.
in the gameplay, I think, for it.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of video games, do you have a like what's the besides from Switch, do you have any other systems?
so I have the Xbox.
Which one? Like the
I
Series
have
X?
the all digital series. I think that's the Series X one.
So is that
Um,
that's one below the like top one, right?
yeah, I don't want to have the one that looks like the giant computer, the like
Yeah.
giant
Okay.
black box. I have like the smaller. It looks like a 360 almost, but it's just like a full digital Xbox. I think it's like $250. I mean, it's not bad. I can fit like Call of Duty and two other games on it
So
at
you need to have
once
a pretty hefty
because
or you
there's
just
like
like
a
undownload them basically.
yeah, because they're always in the clouds. You could just kind of re-download, and I have like an Ethernet cord plugged in, so my Wi-Fi is pretty fast. It's like not bad. If anything, I think my adult self, when I get my bonus next year, is going to get a PS5 to get the Harry Potter games. I know it's going to be an exclusive, and I think it's only Sony, and I have to get that. I know we were talking about it a little bit earlier
Yeah,
too.
so that's my dilemma is getting a new system like a PS4 because I right now I have the Xbox One, but the
Mhm.
Hogwarts comes out and then the One Piece game that looks sick comes out in January. So I want to get that as well. So I'm debating getting a new system. So right now, yeah, I have the old Xbox that's like 6 years old at this point.
Yeah, and
Um,
it still keeps up and like it runs certain games fine. And that's why I was like, I just wanted to get an upgraded system, but I think I'm gonna go PlayStation this time. Like Spider-Man's a lot of fun. I think Ghost of Tsushima, which is on like another Sony exclusive, like and I just heard like people like my little brother who's a big gamer has always been a fan of PlayStation. Like he's always gotten the
yeah,
PlayStations instead of getting an Xbox. And so I think that's might be just in addition, I'll throw my Xbox upstairs and that'll be like the bedroom Netflix player, and then I'll just have
yeah,
the
yeah.
PlayStation down here.
Yeah.
Um,
Growing up I always had PlayStation, but then I ended up getting the Xbox because I got like on a Prime Day, they like in 2015 or 16, whenever, they had some insane deal that was like it came with a $60 gift card, two controllers, and it wasn't that expensive. And I was like, well, like I don't really need an Xbox, but I'd be losing money if I didn't take advantage of this this opportunity.
Back when
So
Prime actually had deals instead of
yeah,
just like slashing and saying that it's an actual deal, but
yeah, it
it's
was
not even
Prime. It
a
was
thing.
like Prime Day. You know, like the whatever day in January where they have like Prime Day where they discount a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
shit. That's what it was. But I think I'll depending on same thing my bonus, I'll probably ball out, get a PS5, but we'll see.
You got to pick Hufflepuff and just go through my career. I'm so pumped.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess this has been enough nerd talk. We can
Yeah.
I guess there's some football in there. So we went football nerd, and we can go back to sports, talk about NBA.
Yeah.
So there's a couple topics that we have up here. I don't know where you want to start. Like I feel like the Lakers should probably be talked about.
The
The
Lakers and just in general, a lot of teams that are kind of around 500. I was seeing some things before just and a lot of like the veteran teams that are bouncing back, some teams that are coming back to earth. And the Lakers are one of those teams because yeah, it's like, is this a legitimate? Are they back? Is AD just going on a crazy run right now? Is this like sustainable? Would they still try to make some moves at the All-Star break? Like I think if LeBron and AD, like if AD is the guy and LeBron can be like the Pippen to his
yeah.
Jordan in that way, I think that, they could definitely sneak in the play in and be an interesting team. I still don't think the ceiling of this team is as good as the best teams in the West, but going from nothing to a play-in team in the playoffs in the Western Conference, I think is, definitely a lot better than our expectations were the last time we were filming a Give and Go show. Like I thought
Yeah.
the Lakers and Nets, I was like, this is done.
Yeah, I mean, what they've won like three straight, 8-2. They beat the Bucks recently with Chris
The
Middleton.
healthy Bucks. So
Yeah, I
like,
was gonna
yeah, with
say
everybody back.
Chris Middleton back. Yeah, I feel like we should probably save the Lakers for a longer conversation with when Griffin's back because he'd be able to comment more. I just think, and I wonder because there's been all this chatter about DeRozan with the Bulls, and they just keep getting worse and worse. Like I wonder if there's any potential there. Like the Bulls are 3-7; they're like currently the 12th seed, and I don't really know how likely it is that they even jump into the top 10 to become a play-in
Mm-hmm.
team. So like, yeah, they just Zach Lowe was talking about it on his podcast, but like they just built this team like not even two off seasons ago. It was like not this past off season, but the one before that.
Yeah.
So like, are they going to blow it up this quick? But I don't know. Like, if there's any trade that I think the Lakers can make them like somewhat dangerous. I feel like it's probably the DeRozan one. I don't know what you think.
I think I listened to the same podcast. They talked about like, why would DeRozan go play like summer league with LeBron somewhere, or just meet up with him in LA to play?
Yeah.
But I could see that it would be another good fit if they potentially got rid of Westbrook for DeRozan.
Oh yeah, he
I
would.
think that would
Russ
be,
would have to go.
like
Yeah.
that would, because then I think like DeRozan's game, I honestly like to have a score like that and such an efficient score if he still kind of came off the bench, like how Russ is doing it. He could be like a what's his face, Sean Livingston on steroids for the
Like a
Lakers.
Lou
Like
Williams.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah, like a huge contributor there. And his 3-point shooting, I think with open shots might be better if he's able to get them, but he's never been like a reliable 3-point
Yeah,
shooter.
he won't shoot.
I do think that would make them better though. They would be a fun team to watch. I could see them definitely like when LeBron is really turned on, and like if you have, because DeRozan last year had so many games
He's
where
phenomenal.
he was getting like 40-point games, closing teams out in the fourth quarter. So he still has it. Toronto Raptors all-time leading scorer, DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, I also
did you get that one
yeah,
right?
I did get that one right. Yeah,
Vince Carter and Chris Bosh honestly was the one that made me think. I was like,
I guess
but I ended up picking DeRozan.
Yeah, I guess about both of them as well. But then I figured I was like, no, DeMar just played there for so long.
Yeah, just for reference too, there's this like NBA quiz for teams all-time scorers, and so I sent it. I got 11 of 15 right, and wanted to send it to see how everyone else did.
I got 10.
You got around there, right? 10.
Like 10, yeah.
Nice.
I'm still. We talked about it before. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I kicked myself for 2 of them. But yeah,
Matt.
Yeah, not at NBA trivia apparently. I think the better Matt will have to go to if they meet in the playoffs. Winner of Eagles Cowboys will take the mantle of a better Matt.
I have a feeling I'll be sad.
If there's any, it's basically your entire lifetime of Cowboys history. All right, well, we can save the Lakers for when Griffin comes back, because he'll have way more thoughts, and he's watched them way more than we have. So I feel like in terms of like the top of the NBA, obviously the East is the East just a 2-team race basically? Is it like going to be Boston and Milwaukee? Does anybody have a chance of beating either one of them?
The only team, just because the Sixers, like Harden just got back, and I'd like to see them like fully healthy and clicking as being that potential third team. You can see what Embiid did with that 50-point triple-double. Like him still peak is still one of the best players in the NBA. But without a doubt, like right now, the Celtics and Bucks are easily the best 2 teams. Jason Tatum is just, he can drive and get whatever bucket he wants. He's playing like probably at his best level, as probably one of the best players in the NBA. I think he might be leading the MVP race when everyone's talking about it. And Jaylen Brown is also so good. He's averaging career highs in points, assists, and rebounds right now. I don't think has made an all-NBA team yet, so this would be the first year that he would do it, but he's playing like an all-NBA player. And then, the Bucks with Middleton just getting back now, they've already been exceptional before. And, the Nets, if they play at their best, I still don't think is at the level of a Milwaukee or a Boston. Maybe they lose 4-1 instead of 4-0 in a series.
They steal one.
Yeah, like they on a KD ridiculous game, maybe they steal one, but they don't have any answers at center. They get out rebounded by every team. Even teams that aren't good at rebounding will get second chance points against the Nets, even when they're shooting lights out. They are one of the best jump shooting teams in the NBA, but you see what happens in the playoffs when play gets physical. If you're not hitting your jumpers, it's hard. And you'd rather have one of those teams that are just aggressive in the paint in the playoffs, like the Bucks, like the Celtics, that could get there. But I think it is just Team Green this year between really the Bucks or the Celtics.
Unless you have like Steph and Clay, you can't be primarily jump shooting team. And even the Warriors are just a different animal. But see, I wonder if it's the Sixers or the the Sixers are the 7th seed. They just lost 3 straight. They just lost to the Rockets last night. I have the Sixers on between them and the Timberwolves. Were we just dumb to even believe in these teams to begin the season?
The Wolves, I think I was upset with myself of believing them, because that's turning not as bad as Russell Wilson, but the Gobert for 5 first-round picks. It's like, they're not really good with a lot of Gobert lineups on the floor. With D'Angelo Russell taking a step back, and Anthony Edwards not taking his leap, they're just, Yeah, they're not an instant contender after making that trade, which if you give up all of that, you're expecting to be an instant contender.
And that feels so predictable. Like, of course, an offense with Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns couldn't do anything. Like, of course, a defense with D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns couldn't do anything. And like Anthony Edwards seems like he's just done with it. Like he seems like he's just over it. He's not passing. He's not really playing defense.
Which are the concerns of coming out of the draft is that he's like, I'd rather be a football player. Almost like I don't even like basketball. And it's like, yeah, when it's not going well, you see that just reflected on the court. And it's hard to like, you know, the it factor doesn't really show up on the stat sheet, but it's definitely a factor.
100%.
Like just the player attitude, like how they're reacting, like a little bit they talked about on the kind of the Lakers turnaround. I know we're going to leave it to Griffin, but like LeBron's attitude towards the team apparently has been a lot better during this win streak. And it's, you know, you've seen the results throughout the team.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had a point, but I lost my train of thought. But yeah, and then regarding the Sixers, like was it just obvious that Embiid and Harden, like they both talk so much? Well, it's like Embiid, all I care about is winning. All I want to do is win. And then Harden all offseason was talking about like how
taking less money.
Yeah, I'm taking less money. Like I want to prove that I am that guy that I was a couple years ago, that like I'm still that player. But then they both really don't seem like they want to mold their game to like fit the other one. You know, like Harden still wants to run a bunch of pick and rolls and like just lob threats. He's not moving on offense. He's not playing defense. And then Embiid just wants to post up with like stationary players around him so he can just kick out to an open shooter. And like Harden, I think it was his first game back. So like you're really only talking about how he looked prior to the injury. And he did look good, but to me, it wasn't necessarily in a way that was like sustainable. Like he was hitting a bunch of like 2-point shots, like that weren't at the rim. Like to me, that's kind of fool's gold. And then Embiid just looks like he's miserable. Like you probably haven't watched that many Sixers games, but like he looks the same way he looked in the Al Horford year when he was just miserable. It was like Brett Brown's last year.
Yeah, every single call, every time they show a timeout or something, it's like him pissed off. Yeah,
he's sulking. He looks pissed. Like he complained. I mean, rightfully so. The Harden did you see the last possession last night?
No, I saw that Harden was like 0 for 8 from 2-point though. Like he was just shooting terrible and like literally didn't make a shot inside the arc yesterday. It was like 4 for 17 overall, I think, shooting.
Yeah, which like that part's fine. Like whatever. You're gonna not have days where you can't shoot, but it was like the game was tied in regulation, and he tried to take the last shot, and it was the worst possession I've ever seen. And that's another thing. Like, were we dumb to believe that like the Sixers with Doc Rivers, the most uncreative head coach, was going to be able to make it work with this roster? And then also like starting, I mean, and Maxi's been hurt, but starting Maxi and Harden, like that's not a defensive backcourt that's probably going to hold up in the playoffs, you know?
Mm-hmm. And it's like, just to that point again, with all these other teams in the East with concerns, like the Cavs could be, like you said, another team that potentially does, like if everything is clicking for them, you know, if Mobley takes that another step later in the season, if Donovan Mitchell, because, you know, just the start of the season, how it went for Mitchell when he's on and streaky, which could happen in the playoffs, like they could be a dangerous team too. I just think though the Bucks and the Celtics have both had like the same players, if any, like players that they've added to the roster, like Brogdon on the Celtics has just been a net positive, and they've gotten even better, and they just have that chemistry. To throw in some more sports like the World Cup, the US plays aggressive. They like looked a little better this year, but anytime the Dutch touched the ball in the Netherlands, like it was just perfect. Like you see, like it's another level of playing. Everybody can read themselves, like they know how to move the ball. Like the Celtics and Bucks chemistry is just above and beyond, I think, any other team in the East right now.
Yeah, that was actually a point that I was going to make. I think the Celtics have the best chance of beating one of them. Like, I don't think the Celtics are the. I mean, it's almost not a guarantee, but obviously stuff can happen. But it's probably going to be Celtics 1, Bucks 2, and I don't think anybody's beating both of them in a playoff series. Like, you would have to go through like both of them to make the finals, and I don't think the Cavs have that in them. But like, could they beat one of them? I guess it'd be the Bucks in this case. In the playoffs, probably not. But I think they would have the best chance of upsetting one of those top 2 teams than anybody else. You just wonder if they're too young, like you said.
You hate to jinx it with like injuries and stuff, but also anything can happen between now and the rest of and you know, the trade deadline, there's still a lot to happen before we get to the playoffs. But looking at it now, again, like they could take those teams 7. I definitely think they have the potential to do that too. And just seeing how like Garland has evolved as a scorer, like there's a lot of guys on that team that could blow up at any time, which
Yeah.
is exactly what you need in the playoffs. It's that extra guy that's just stepping up when you're dialed in on Giannis, when you're dialed in on trying to shut down Tatum and Brown on the wings. Like there's going to be those exploited matchups that come up, and like who's the deepest team that could take advantage of that? The Cavs are a really deep team too, but
Yeah. But I think you're right. I think they're probably just too young. Like they lost both their play-in games last year, so they haven't even made the playoffs yet. With I mean, obviously this is Mitchell's first year, but like a second year Mobley, a third or fourth year Garland, I forget exactly what year he is.
third year.
Yeah, I mean, and they're both incredible. Like they have a very bright future and a high ceiling. But I think what'll probably happen is I feel like it'll be that Bull. Remember the Bulls Celtics series from like 2000, like Derrick Rose's rookie year, where they took the Celtics to 7 games, and it was like, holy crap, like this team is going to be good. I think that's honestly what I see from the Cavs this year. Like they dismantle whoever they play in the first round, and then they have a couple games against the Bucks in like a hard 6 or 7 game series where you're like, oh, this team's coming.
And they might even win. Yeah, they might like win one of those games by 15, like an off
Yeah,
night by Tatum. Like, because he sometimes has that too. If he's playing a lot of minutes and just jacking up a lot of threes, he can have that off night. But yeah, I think like in the next 2 years, they're going to be a threat up there. But for now, I think it's just Milwaukee and the Boston. That's at the top. That's a real threat. The West is a little more wide open.
yeah, that's a
Phoenix
different
is still
conversation.
number one, which is crazy.
Yeah, the top 3 in the West, Phoenix, they're half game up on the Pelicans, and they're a full game up on the Grizzlies.
Oh my God.
That's great. I mean, the Grizzlies, they were the 2 seed last year, so that one makes more sense. But the Pelicans, and I feel like they haven't had a healthy team all year. And then you look up and they're like 15-8.
Mm-hmm. And they, I think, have the longest win streak in the NBA right now. I mean, a lot of teams like I thought the Mavericks might have been a team up there at the top of the West that's been around 500 because it's really just if the players around Luka can make shots, they'll win. But if they don't, they'll lose because he'll have to put up a 30-point triple double every single night to win, which isn't really sustainable. But again, just as far as chemistry, like you said it, the Grizzlies have been doing it for a few years now. The Suns are consistently up there. And I think the Pelicans is just kind of playing out their potential. I'm just excited to see, what Zion can do. I feel like he still hasn't really been talked about as a player. If they try to feature him a little more in the offense, like they could win. They could have their big games and moments. And if they keep it sustainable, they'll have probably more like marquee matchups later in the season where it's like, all right, have the Pelicans really arrived? Or is this just another, they'll look really good in the first round and then, one injury will derail them or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, like Alvarado just put up like 35, but we haven't really seen anything we haven't seen like that signature Zion game yet. In the Suns, they're 16-8 and Chris Paul hasn't played in like a month, however long it's been. He's been out forever.
Yeah, he's been hanging out with Kim Kardashian.
The banana boat just yeah, that was a great day on the internet. Like Twitter can't go away because the memes on that day.
It's too good. As much as Elon's trying to fuck it up right now,
trying to ruin it. Yeah, I know.
It's the people's social media. We'll keep it going.
Yeah, I know. Twitter can't go away. But then there's the Nuggets, the 4th seed, 14-9. Jokic is having another incredible year. No one's really talking about. Still getting.
I think I saw like someone was posting on NBA Reddit or something. It's like by advanced metrics, like everyone hates it, but Jokic is like on track to be MVP again, which I could definitely see that happening. Like if they end up as the 2 seed again and like, they're looking really good. Jokic is just like a fun center to watch. And he does like the offense does completely revolve around him, which is nuts. Like he's such a great passing center. He's so creative. And I love watching his jump shot. Like he's just got that sky jump shot when he shoots, and it's great.
It's disgusting, but it has like it like almost hits the roof, but it goes in.
Not as disgusting as Mason Plumlee's left-handed jumper. Oh my
God. Yeah, that was terrible. I mean,
that was so funny.
The bench players were like riveted watching that bounce around the rim.
Giannis was visibly disgusted. Like,
yeah, that was bad. But I think, unless the Nuggets are like have the best record in the entire NBA, there's no way they're letting Jokic get a 3-peat. There's no way.
He's just because then it's like the argument's like, how come LeBron never would have gotten a 3-peat if that's the case? Because like for every year where you talk about like, yeah, like oh, by metrics or by stats, this person should do it. It's like LeBron should have 7, 8
Yeah,
MVPs at this
he's definitely
point.
he's definitely the most valuable player.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be Tatum. Like the Celtics are on pace to have like the best offense by forever, like ever in the history of the NBA by like a wide margin. I mean, that'll probably come down, but still.
And if they have the best record in the NBA and he's the best player on that team, like I could definitely see him winning MVP.
Yeah, exactly. With how good they've been. And I do think the Celtics and the Suns is kind of interesting. And then like the Warriors are like coming on a little bit. I know they just lost last night to the Pacers, but how about side note, how good are the Pacers?
So, and who was there? They had another rookie that put up like 30 points last night. Right?
Yeah, I think
I saw him cook Curry for that dagger 3. That was nasty.
I think he went to if I remember him correctly, I'm pretty sure he went to Gonzaga. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, Nembhard, 31 on the night. That's crazy.
Yeah, he went off. But
13 assists too. God damn.
I know he almost had a triple double.
Because Halliburton's been hurt now, right? But I know he leads the league in assists this year. I saw that statistically he's actually having like as good of a season as Steve Nash did back on his MVP year. Of course, things are a lot different. Yeah. Like stats are all inflated, so it's probably still like an impressive year, but it's just, again, it goes to show just kind of how the Kings and Pacers, how that was looked at as like a kind of, I feel like a lot of people were more just like, how would the Kings get rid of Halliburton, a young player, for kind of middling superstar that isn't going to elevate their team in any way in Sabonis, but yet it's working out for both teams right now.
Yeah, I still think that was a dumb trade for the Kings. Like I think Halliburton could be like historically good, and Sabonis is never going to be better than like, yeah, he's good, you know?
Exactly. Like as good as he is now.
Yeah, exactly. He'll never be. And like Halliburton, who knows what his ceiling is? Like he could be a legit guard on a championship team. But yeah, like the Suns and the Celtics, and then again to lesser extent the Warriors had like all three of them had like insane, ridiculous controversies to begin, like right before the season started, like with Ime Udoka for the Celtics, the Suns, like all this stuff with their owner, and then Draymond Green just decking
Jordan Poole.
Yeah, and then you look up, it's like Celtics are the 1 seed, the Suns are the 1 seed. The Warriors are like, they started off horribly. They're kind of coming on, and like they're 7-3 in their last 10.
Steph Curry's having an MVP season himself in his own right. Yeah, like he's leads the league right now in threes again, averaging 30 points a game, and is just making full court shots too. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah. Oh, it was definitely real. That was definitely real.
As real as Kobe jumping over the Lamborghini.
Yeah, or as real as just the Tom Brady commercial as well.
Yeah. The only one I believe is Ronaldinho kicking the ball
off the goalpost.
Yeah. That's the only one that I actually know is legit. The other ones, no.
Yeah, those are all fake. All right, well, nice hodgepodge of stuff we kind of covered. I mean, it's been a while since we met. Is there anything else that you want to get off your chest?
No, I think we're good. I'm pretty excited for just December basketball. Christmas Day always gets me juiced.
I love Christmas Day.
Hoping that, for the sake of our the Give and Go show, the Sixers, Nets, and Lakers continue to do well. Well, Sixers pick it up because Harden's finally back, so maybe they'll start playing better. And good luck to the Eagles.
Yeah, I
pulling for the Giants this week. 6.5 at home. I think you take that.
Hey, I mean they should have beaten the Commanders, but I'll lay the 6.5 with the Eagles. I think the Giants are toast.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but no, that was fun. I'll keep watching anime and hopefully beat the Pokemon League by the next time we record too.
Yeah, there you go.
Some updates there.
Maybe we'll have to live stream a battle once you beat the Pokemon League. We'll have to face off against each other
or get some trades going.
Yeah, even better. Cool. Well, no, I appreciate you taking the time, Griffin. I could say it was probably a better show without you. So maybe we'll see if we just want to ship him out. But no, appreciate everybody tuning in. I forgot to mention this at the top, but if you're still watching, give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a share with your friends. And appreciate you guys taking the time.